Hello, you. It is me, and this is indeed Ivory Rose Goes Wild. And this is the person who had made mention that Gypsy and her clan were looking up her address, going there, going to her work, and she even, I believe, got fired from her job because of it. She says it in her latest video up on YouTube. She talks about it. And also she talks about Morbid, Sir Morbid. I've listened to a couple of his videos, honestly. I only started listening to him maybe 2 weeks ago, and he said something I didn't really like, and so I just decided not to watch his videos because I've got plenty of other creators out there who talk about Gypsy. So I thought, well, I could just skip him. You know, he rubbed me the wrong way, I guess. But he seemed to be saying lies about Ivory Rose. Ivory Rose, on one of his lives, talked about the trampoline story where she saw Gypsy there, and she was in a wheelchair, and then as soon as her mom left, I guess, to go to the store for something, Gypsy ran out of the chair and started using the trampoline, so everybody there knew that she could walk. And then when her mother got back, she yelled at her, and I guess they went home. And Morbid was saying that this never happened. She never saw it. She never met Dee Dee. I don't know Cutoff that well, but it seems to be a very small, kind of tight-knit community. And if they're around the same age, it's very likely that they could have gone to the same party. I think it was a birthday party. It could have very easily had happened. I'm not saying it did or it didn't, but what I will say is that Ivory Rose's demeanor is, I don't know, the way she talks about things, it just seems to make sense. And I guess I just like her. I like her. I don't know. I'm assuming she's telling the truth. She sounds like she's telling the truth, and she does bring receipts that looks like, yeah, she's telling the truth. So, I don't know. Take a look at her latest video. I liked it. Maybe you'll like it too. She's a very lovely sounding person, and I don't think that she would make up a story like that. I mean, maybe she did. I don't know. I don't think so. It sounds pretty legit to me. I don't know. I guess when I was growing up, the community that I lived in, it was part of a broader community, yes, but I knew everybody in my area. You know, I might not have known them well, but I knew a lot of people in the area. I mean, there were some famous people in my area, some that I would rather not talk about because it's extremely sad. There was I'll just say it. There was a lovely little girl who was breaking into show business, and apparently her home life was very bad, and I think it was her father, murdered her mother and her, set the house on fire, and he died in it as well. Not really what you want to be known for in your community. But everybody knew her. I didn't know her well, but she went to the same school that I went to. I saw her in the commercials and congratulated her on, her doing her thing. And, you do if you're in a community like that, a tight-knit community, which I was as a child, you know everybody. Not well, but you know everybody. I know the dude down the street who did all the drugs, and I knew the guys across the street who, had the cool cars, and, you know these people. or at least you're familiarized with them. So why wouldn't she have run across Dee Dee and Gypsy when Gypsy was a little kid? It's quite possible. So I don't know everything, but I support Ivory Rose because she seems legit to me. I don't know. Anyway, moving on from Ivory Rose, we now move on to the not so lovely Gypsy Rose. She had gotten into this big kerfuffle because of her postings on June 9th and June 10th. And the one on, I think it was June 9th, was talking about the 10-year anniversary of not only her mother passing away, but also on June 9th is when she first got to see the baby Aurora in a sonogram. Whoop-de-doo. But then she starts making all these excuses saying, oh, well, I said the 9th because it was kind of the 9th and the 10th because it was early in the morning of the 10th and I didn't want to post on the 10th, so I put the 9th. I just wanted to do it a day early. Why is everybody making such a fuss about it? Here's the thing. Why would you need to make a post, period? Why was it so important to post on the 9th and the 10th? Now, to me, I think very clearly, unfortunately, Dee Dee passed away on the 9th before even Nick showed up, or was on her way to passing away before Nick showed up. But honestly, semantics aside, why is she posting? Why would she post a Mother's Day post? Those types of things are very sensitive that can affect a lot of people. Why did she need to do it? Because it just looks like she's boasting. You know, oh, my mom wasn't a good mother and she was really abusive and blah, blah, blah. Going on and on. Okay, why? We've already heard your story. We already know it's lies. But why would you keep talking about it? It doesn't make sense. You don't act like somebody who was the victim of abuse. Now, true victims of abuse do need to talk about their abuse. I think it's important. I talked briefly about my father when I found out that he died because he was abusive and neglectful and abandoned me. And it sucked. But guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to post, okay, I know today's Father's Day. I get it. That wasn't intentional. But I'm not going to make an intentional post about my father on Father's Day. Nor am I going to do it on his birthday. Nor am I going to do any kind of remembrance of him, any memories of him now, because I am putting him aside. The abuse that I suffered, the relationship that we had, it's gone now. I'm putting it to the side because it doesn't take precedence in my life anymore. For everything that he was, I love my dad, but anything that I think or feel or whatever is for myself, or for maybe I talk with my friend about. Why is she making posts about her mother like that? As she was so horrible, why do you have to keep reminding everybody? She doesn't do it because she's melancholy about the situation. I still feel a little melancholy about my father because it's hard to sort into your mind somebody that was so horrible and yet you still loved them. and trying to find that balance in between. She's not doing that. She just drags her mother over and over. She was not a good mother. Yeah, but Gypsy, she kept you alive, didn't she? Because you were sick. She didn't just leave you in a basket at the fire station. She didn't, murder you. No, she did everything it took, went to every doctor she needed to, every specialist, whatever she could do to help you to thrive. And this is how you thank her, by dragging her through the mud and making everybody think that she was a horrible, abusive person. And it's gross. It's sick. And that's one thing I really appreciate about Ivory Rose, because she had plans to, she asked people in her area to email her about any stories that they might have of Dee Dee and to share them. And I think that is the sweetest, loveliest way to give tribute to Dee Dee. I think that's fantastic. And Morbid picked on her for that, saying, oh, it's not real, oh, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't know Morbid well. Like I said, I've heard maybe one or two of his videos. I didn't really care for him. But is he just mad because he didn't think of it himself? I mean, what is it with him? Oh, Ivory Rose disagreed with him once, and so he doesn't want to talk to her again, and she's bad now? I mean, that's what it seems like. Go watch her video. I don't get it, because I think that is the loveliest thing I have heard yet. I didn't think of it. And I would have, the idea is so lovely. I want to see that video. I want to see what other people thought of Dee Dee, what other people thought about her, because she said she helped everyone a lot. And let's not forget, Dee Dee was a nurse until Gypsy was born. And then she spent her entire rest of her life taking care of a thankless murderer. I don't know what else to say. I want to say more, but I feel like I'd go off on a terrible tangent that nobody wants to hear. She's just a thankless, horrible human being. But yeah, I would love to see that video. In fact, go to Ivory Rose's current video and tell her I want to see that video, because that was such a lovely idea. That was so sweet. Hearing other people talk about the Dee Dee they knew. I love that idea. That is so awesome. God, I wish I'd have thought of that. But I'm not in the area, so it'd probably be a lot harder. But still, I love that idea. I really hope she still does the video, because that's a great idea. It really, and it doesn't matter if it's on the anniversary of her death. It doesn't matter if her birthday has passed. None of that matters. I just think it would be lovely to hear what other people thought of Dee Dee, and little stories about her, something cute, something fun, something sweet. Who cares? I just want to know about Dee Dee, because we're obviously not getting it from Gypsy here. The compulsive liar. Just gross. Anyway, there's another question that's been racking my brain recently. And that is, where did all the animals go? Because there are so many pictures with Gypsy and Dee Dee and dogs and cats, and especially dogs. I remember a lot of dogs. But where did they go? And the reason why I question this is because we have questioned Gypsy's, well, we'll just say her, if she's balanced or not mentally. And my concern is, did she do something to those animals? Because people who show signs of antisocial behaviors aren't always kind to animals. Some are, by the way. There are some who see animals as equals to them, unlike people, and they're very loving. It can happen in their own way, but they take care of their animals very well. Now, I question, did Gypsy? Because I feel like, and a lot of people feel like this too, but I'm just going to speak from my perspective because I'm me. I feel like Dee Dee covered up a lot of what Gypsy did. If Gypsy got out of hand, Gypsy had a fit, Gypsy broke something, hurt something, stole something, I feel like Dee Dee covered for her a lot. Because Gypsy was her world. We already have established that, I think. Everything for Gypsy. So, I can't help but wonder if Gypsy had a hand in why those animals were no longer there. Was she abusive and Dee Dee gave the animals away? You know, or could it be something a lot worse? I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Not spitting out facts. There were facts that there were a lot of animals. I don't know what happened to them, so I can't speak facts on where they went. But we saw how quickly she just disposed of Ryan and Pixie. Just very easily, okay, you keep the dog, bye! And that was it. So, I wonder what happened to those animals. I don't know. Maybe if Ivory Rose does that video, maybe she'll have a story about that. Maybe Dee Dee gave away animals so that Gypsy wouldn't hurt them. Not saying facts, just saying my thoughts, my opinions. I don't know. You tell me what you think. Because I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about it, and it's something that I've just been thinking a lot about lately. And I know other people have brought it up. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known about it myself. I don't hear a lot of people asking those questions. What happened to all the animals that they had? Because they didn't seem to last very long. And there didn't seem to be any animals when they discovered, unfortunately, Dee Dee had passed away. There were no animals that I could see, so what's up with that? Anyway, I hope you liked this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in and listening. I appreciate it very much. And that's all I got to say.